Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you get 13 years on that case and think, sure, let's see if we can get less.
Yep. Would you offer him? Was it something?
At the end, he offered him 10 initially. Travis offered 4.
You serious? Now, could it be 4 and then he can get out on parole or no?
He's eligible for parole technically about 2.5 years. So he couldn't get parole before then. The likelihood he'll get parole at that point is slim. Although, considering the pandemic, they were paroling people left and right.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2.5 years from now.
Mm-mm-mm.
Family was happy, so that's what matters. He was happy.
I didn't get to watch much of it, but
You see the pictures? You want to see the pictures?
yeah. I just remember them. Yes.
No, they filed for the grandparents filed.
Intervene.
Yeah, that's what was an interesting deal for sure.
What was the result? What was the result?
You didn't know?
I didn't know. That's why I asked you.
13 years.
So what was?
It was a holdout. Yeah, it was the holdout from guilt innocence. Because guilt innocence shouldn't have taken as long as it did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw anything from the trial.
I didn't.
You want to see how her face looked. This is one of those cases where, I mean, obviously, guilt innocence is kind of always an argument, but I was confident. Make sure we get it. There, 30 minutes into it, they sent out a note saying, "What do we do if we can't?" Based on everything we know, that means we had 11 people want to do 20.
Yeah.
And we had one unfortunate crazy person. And I know we asked her, we talked to her too, and Lord Iron. And of course, you can never really know.
Do you know who the one holdout crazy person was?
Small, she talked to Anderson for probably about 30 minutes after.
Her name was Small.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the one you knew. Okay.
No, the one you knew was yelling at her. That was what the yelling was. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. So here's the victim. Tell me if she fell out of the truck.
I mean, I'm falling out of a few trucks. Let me see.
And now at trial, though, was she strong for you? I mean, she wasn't equivocating anymore.
So had she, we were fully prepared for that eventuality. She'd given multiple interviews. She was always kind of telling when someone's telling the truth because they're consistent.
Yeah.
From the hospital to the investigator to me to the courtroom, same story.
And so you got 13, you said?
13 years.
And what was your offer?
Initial offer was 4, we went up to 10. I mean, in that sense, we won. I was disappointed we didn't get 20. But like I said, and so they've appealed, and I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I'm a fully cooperative family. Everyone's on board. No one's anti-Trump. If they got to come back here and do it again, they will, and he's going to get 20.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if they see it that way. When Hiram Hayes, you remember I had a felony trial on a failure to appear? Guy got probation with a crazy lawyer, someone tried to appeal it. And then eventually Judge Feidenhauser looks at him and goes, you know, if you win, you're just risking prison again, right?
Yeah. Hey, did you happen to get, and I know you've been busy, so you probably haven't even looked. Yeah, I just wondered if you got one about the bar meeting. I attached a photo from an old photo, and
I
typically,
did see that actually. Yeah.
so it got through. No, the thing that's odd is usually, usually I don't have any attachments. So I just send out next bar meeting is so and so. I get 2 or 3, 4 people. I'll be there. I can't show up, whatever. This time I send out one with a picture and 0 people respond. It's like, I couldn't believe anybody didn't say, look at that skinny people, or man, you look different, or something.
I mean, if you want us to laugh at like it was silly. I was a little. I wanted to say something, and I almost did, and then I thought Travis might look down. He would laugh, but he would also look down on me for saying it. I was just disappointed the DA at the time couldn't get the guy home. What a failure of that.
Okay, good. Well, for one, if you got it, I'm assuming everybody else did too.
Just lost my train. Oh, we had an officer testify, Officer Don Cruz. We were all. It wasn't what he gave us; it was how he testified. He was one of the best witnesses, one of the best officer witnesses we've ever had.
Right.
I'd place him up there with some of the best rangers that we've had testify. It was his first time
What entity is he?
see.
Chile PD?
He's been an officer for about 7 years. Just his demeanor and the way he would listen to the questions.
Imagine that.
Yeah, no. And then there was 2 other officers involved from Belleville. Like the whole thing was, and I don't know what time your thing started.
1:30, but nobody's checked them out.
So the assault occurred in Sealy. James Gonzalez beats the crap out of her there, winds up puncturing her lungs, and it developed into what's known as a tension pneumothorax, which is a collapsed lung with tension. So it pushes it starts building enough pressure up, it'll start pushing all the organs to the side, crushing your heart, and then you die. And so that was the serious bodily injury in the case. When they got to the hospital 16 hours later, because James was like, oh shit, can't have a dead body in my house. Stepdad shows up and proceeds to whoop his ass. And as bad as that was for him to do, well, arguably that was bad. I mean, he was there lying in wait to pick up his. This wasn't a Myron Reyes situation. This wasn't 2 years after the fact. He was sitting there after having just beat the shit out of her. But because of that attack, James runs inside, jumps over the counter, and tries to hide from the dad. And he got into the area where they have locked doors to the hospital.
Right.
So he got back into there where Whitney was. And so the hospital's freaking out. They're calling the police. But because of that, the nurse, the doctor, they vividly remember this. Because it could have just been 2 years ago, we had someone come in with trauma. I don't have any idea.
Right.
They all vividly remembered it. Anderson made the argument in court, and he didn't have a lot to work with.
Was he appointed on this?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you see is there anything for error in there? I mean, is there any big issue?
There was quite a few objections, so I've been sitting there a little bit trying not to think about it, a little bit thinking about it. I didn't see anything really contentious. Most of there was an indictment amended that he agreed to. There was
Did the judge leave him out on bond?
Leave him out on bond?
Yeah.
Only got 13 years.
I know, but if you get, I think, less than 15.
It's less than 10. It has to be less than 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you get 10, you're not eligible. They had to look that up for one of them. But no, he was never out on bond. He's always been in jail.
Oh, okay.
He's been in custody for the last year.
Did John act like he was going to do the appeal?
No, Phil Baker will be.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. The only thing on appeal, we did something different in this case, is we introduced evidence of their prior relationship, which we hadn't done before. There was an article passed in 2015, 38371, allows both sides to go into prior relationships in family violence cases. And so we brought up priors, we brought up the history of their relationship, drug use, Whitney came up, and all that kind of stuff. And there's a bunch of appellate courts that all say that that's fine. It's permissible under 404B, 403. Just hasn't gone all the way up yet. So that's certainly going to be grounds for appeal. That's going to be a big issue.
Well, and the thing is, if you got several cases up there, probably by the time the record is made, everything, you'll probably get a definitive answer. So
there's no petition history on them. There's a couple that are from late last year, talking October, November kind of thing, but it doesn't look like any appeals been filed beyond
Okay.
So I don't know that anything's actively going on.
Okay, I got you.
And Judge Hauser, bless his heart, he agreed to let the stuff in, but I think he might have over agreed on some things. And it was fine. I wasn't offering anything. And then Anderson, so we have video, right? And 99% of cases, there's going to be stuff that needs to be redacted out. Anderson just wanted the whole thing played. So everything about the mom saying this has happened 1,000 times before, he's beating the shit out of her, which is going to go a long ways towards combating his appeal argument.
Right.
Because he let a lot of that stuff in. In fact, he called witnesses that then more of that stuff just came out.
Oh, no.
So I don't know how he can complain about it on appeal if he's offering the evidence. So that'll be, I didn't think about that until just now.
You can note of that.
Yeah, there was a 2016 thing that came in that didn't come out of that video, but yeah, he's not going to be able to argue that. Well, he can, but he's going to shoot himself in the foot. But no, it was an interesting trial. I didn't think any of that video was going to come in, so I edited out. It was an easy edit. All I had to do was put in his interview. It was about 5 minutes. But the whole thing came in. And then 2 more officers came in, had their videos played. I was like, great.
Yeah.
I would have thought all this would have been thrown out, but you want to play it, go on ahead, stipulate to the evidence. I'm happy to do it. But it was nice after we had Officer Cruz testifying for as great as he did, and then Officer Rosales testifies. And he's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. That's never great. But he did all right.
I heard Cruz was an exceptional.
Beyond exception.
Yeah. Everyone knew.
No, we'll see how he does on like a DWI or something. He's got to be the expert. This one was all just what did you see? What did you hear?
Facts, man. Nothing but the facts.
Yeah, but his demeanor was stellar. One of the few witnesses to articulate very well. And, I don't think I could have asked for a better one.
Right. Well,
We all kind of thought he might develop a little bit of an attitude because him and Anderson have gone at it before ALR hearings. Yeah, so there's been yelling matches from what I've heard.
yeah.
But 13 years was good. Whitney was smiling, so I think all was well as well. Got to get through the appeal, and then so no suppression hearing,
Well,
provided he goes to trial.
provided he goes to trial, that suppression hearing is set on Wednesday. So if he's in trial, then no. So I mean,
So if in the next 2 weeks, it's probably, I'll keep all my people on.
yeah, I would keep him, get him subpoenaed and kind of keep him on standby. I mean, obviously, if he's in a jury trial somewhere, we're not bringing him back for a suppression hearing. And then we just have to reset that one. I'm hoping even if it goes though, we can be done with it so we can come and do Weige. But we'll see.
What was the name of that suppression hearing? Is you don't know off the top of your head.
I don't.
What was it, March 16th?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have it written in my book because Maria's got the book, but I might have written it down. Nope.
All right. I'll go. I'll see.
Well, nobody's clicked on.
Miss Rabbell's on there.
I don't fear.
That's Megan Lopez's daughter.
Oh,
She's
cute.
ate avocado for the first time.
I forgot the point I was going to make.
Oh.
So Gonzalez jumps over the counter in the hospital.
Yeah.
So Anderson at one point argues that Whitney shouldn't have possibly felt threatened while James Gonzalez was waiting out in the parking lot. Because she initially lied. She told the hospital that she fell out of the truck. So he's arguing that that must have been the real story. And of course, he told that because he threatened the guy with eyes out. And Anderson's making the argument, there's no way that she could have felt threatened because she was behind locked doors. And Officer Moore is on the stand, and I asked Officer Moore, there's a counter there you can kind of like jump over, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because that's what James did. And he goes, oh no, not anymore. They put a barricade up after this.
Joe, I have her, I show her in the waiting room.
Okay,
I
so
don't know why.
maybe she's on yours and not on mine.
It's
Where's everybody else? And who is this again?
on the hardest.
Yeah, I got the hardest. Which side is she on?
Oh, I don't remember who she represents. Oh, she's on the, I have to look at the. I don't remember who represents who.
She's on the defense. I mean, for the-
Fagan represents Eileen Hardis, and Susan O represents Eugene.
Yes, and so Rabdale is there for Susan. O.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and enter.
I guess so. We may have to find out where.
Yeah, Vicky's birthday's 2 days after yours.
Mm-hmm.
Vicky.
Yeah.
Her birthday's tomorrow.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
I can hear you. I can't see you.
I'm sorry, I had my
There you go.
my
There
bad.
you go. And have we heard from Mr. Fagan? I don't
I'm
have any.
here for Mr. Fagan, Your Honor. Remember, I'm sorry. We represent Ms. Hardis. This is the Fagan Law Firm, and I'm a senior associate here at the firm. So we are the Fagan side for wife. Husband's attorney, Susan Earl, has signed a proposed order, which should be on the offering for the court to sign. There should be a version there with both of our signatures on it, which was just filed.
Okay, it probably is in the clerk's office. We're going to check and see.
Okay. Which then renders this hearing moot.
Yep, and that solves that.
All right. So with that said, should I wait to see if
Let's just wait just to make sure that we got it.
okay?
And now while we're waiting on that, so where are you? Are you originally from England?
Originally from South Africa.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Close.
Do you get to go back or?
I stopped going back to South Africa somewhere in high school or just after because we lost my granny in 1980. When did 89, I think. So that's when we stopped going back. But since we immigrated in 77, I think I'd been back 10 times.
Okay.
Once or twice just for spring break, which is quite a way and a big flight to go just for 5 days. So it's kind of
That is, wow. It's a long. No, I've never been back there. I have a relative that has and I realize it's nowhere close to South Africa, but has a camp in Botswana.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
so I've been invited, but I've never been able to get over there.
Right.
And it's, for the longest time, he had a, hunting camp.
Right.
Whoever the president is of Botswana said no more hunting over there. So it's now just kind of take your camera and walk around.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, if you get the chance to go, there's something very special about Africa, and South Africa is absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't know if you remember when Nightline first began.
Yes.
Couple and Nightline first began quite some time ago. And at one point he was on Table Mountain, overlooking Table Bay in Cape Town, which is where the Atlantic and the Pacific meet, on the southern, the tip of Southern Africa. Southern tip of Africa. And so he's doing his big interview, Ted Koppel, and it's all about, apartheid and divestiture and all this other stuff. It's very serious. And in the middle of everything, he just stops and he looks out the window and he says, the view from here is absolutely breathtaking, he says. So it's kind of sweet.
Did you follow sports or anything like that?
Somewhat.
Do you know whatever happened to, there was a runner back in about the early 80s, Zola Budd, who distance runner who would run barefoot?
Yes, I don't know whatever happened to her.
Okay, it was sort of a sad story that I don't know if you followed track at all, but Zola Budd was ran the 5,000 meters, and her kind of the big star at that time was a woman named Mary Decker, and so Mary Decker in the 1980 or 84 Olympics Mary Decker she's at the end of her career. I don't know how old she was, probably early 30s, mid 30s, been in a couple Olympics, had world records, had done all this stuff. And so this was probably going to be her last Olympics. And Zola Budd was very young. I want to say she was 16, 17 years old, something like that. And so, of course, when Zola Budd was growing up as a runner, Mary Decker was just her hero. I mean, that's who she looked after. And so they both made it into the finals of the 5,000 meters. And the two of them got tangled up. And so, Zola Budd ended up tripping Mary Decker. And both of them fell, and, nobody was seriously injured, but they got bunged up enough that they couldn't get up and finish the race.
Oh, no.
And it was, they interviewed Zola Budd afterwards, and you could tell she was just devastated that, essentially because of her hero not only couldn't finish the race, but didn't medal or anything. And it was like, after that, you almost never heard of her again. And I think that one incident probably and so I've just wondered whatever happened to her, because
That's a good question. I'd heard that name, and I seem to recall that story. I thought, honestly, you were going to ask me about Pistorius. He was the guy who allegedly
killed his fiance,
and is in jail, apparently.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the system is so different, that Oscar Pistorius, I want to say the first go around, he either was found not guilty or had a certain sentence. And I want to say that the government might have appealed, which of course in the United States, the government can't appeal convictions. And then I want to say it got reversed, and then he got retried and got either found guilty or got a life sentence or something like that.
What I'm aware of is it's not common law in South Africa. What I had heard, at least when I was coming up, and I was not going to be a lawyer, but the terminology they use is Roman Dutch law.
Okay.
So it's not common law or French law, it's Roman Dutch.
Okay, so we have two things that were filed, one about 1 o'clock and one about 1:30. Let me see. I don't know if it's the same thing.
The latest one is the one that should have all of our signatures.
Okay, let me see. Right, I got Brian Fagan's signature above your name and Susan Ohl's signature.
Right.
Let me look at the earlier one just to see.
I think that one should be just Mr. Fagan.
Right, the earlier one just has Fagan and not the other one. So I will sign the second one.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that should take care of it.
Mission accomplished. Love it
Mission
when
accomplished.
that comes together. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.